Now let's start with the pure substances, second part. So its first topic is chain rule. It does not belong to the pure substances. The topic belongs to thermodynamics. So in chain rule, we see that it is a mathematical term. So if f is a function of variable x, y, and z, then partial differentiation of x with respect to y keeping z as constant, then partial differentiation of y with respect to z keeping x as constant, and partial differentiation of z with respect to x keeping y as constant is equal to minus 1. Means the multiplication of all these terms is minus 1. Okay. Now in thermodynamics, all the terms that we study or all the functions that are related to thermodynamics are a variable of pressure, temperature, and volume. Hence chain rule applies here, and we have partial differentiation of pressure with respect to volume keeping temperature as constant, and partial differentiation of volume with respect to temperature keeping pressure as constant, then partial differentiation of temperature with respect to pressure keeping volume as constant is minus 1. Okay. Now this question has been asked in ISRO. Now the topic that concerns pure substances is Maxwell relation. So we have partial differentiation of temperature with respect to volume, and all these terms pressure, temperature, and volume with respect to each other keeping some variables as a constant. Now you have seen this equation as dou T by dou V keeping entropy as constant, means partial differentiation of temperature with respect to volume keeping entropy as constant is equal to minus of partial differentiation of pressure with respect to entropy keeping volume as constant, or these are all specific terms. This is a specific volume, this is a specific volume. Okay. So similarly these four relations are there. Okay. Now you have, how will you remember this Maxwell relation? So there is a shortcut for that. That first you write on the left SSTT. Okay. On the left here it's SSTT. Okay. On the right you write VP. Okay. And now on the first term put a minus sign, and in the last term put a minus sign. Okay. Now you will see that the term that you are keeping constant on each side, okay, you will see here, let it finish. Now the term that you are keeping as a constant becomes denominator on the other side. Okay. So if you are in the right side, s is constant and it's dou s. Okay. It's a denominator on the other side. Okay. Now on the right side we have a specific volume which is denominator in the left side. Okay. Similarly in the second also s is here, so in denominator it's s. P is here, so in the denominator it's p. Then T is here, denominator we have T. Then V is here, denominator we have V. Similarly P, T. Okay. Now if you multiply, cross multiplication, if you do the cross multiplication, so you will, in all the terms you will get dou T ds and dou P dV. Okay. Dou P into dV and dou T into dou S. So this is the Maxwell relation that you will find, and this is the memory technique for remembering the Maxwell relation. Okay. Now entropy is a function of temperature and volume. Okay. You have seen the entropy formula for ideal gases, and you have seen there that entropy is calculated using temperature and volume. So entropy is a function of temperature and volume. So ds is equal to partial differentiation because it depends on two variables. So partial differentiation of t of s with respect to t, keeping v as constant, into dou t into dt, when again partial differentiation dou s by dou v into dv. Okay, now multiplying t on both sides we get this. Okay, and this is your first TDS relation that you will get. Now you will wonder that how you get this specific volume CV. Okay, so you have dq is equal to CV and dt at constant volume, whatever the heat you are supplying is a specific heat at constant volume into the temperature difference, implies dq can be replaced by TDS. So TDSV is equal to CV dTV, implies CV is equal to ds by dt at constant volume. So you have got here CV value. Okay, now rest is the just got from the previous steps. Okay, so here we have the first TDS relation. Okay, now similarly S is a function of temperature and pressure, so you will get the second TDS relation. Now we have Mayer's relation. Okay, Mayer's relation is between all these terms, a specific volume, specific heat capacities, and volume expansivity, isothermal compressibility. Okay, so here we have Cp minus Cv means a specific heat at constant pressure minus a specific heat at constant volume is equal to absolute temperature into a specific volume into volume expansivity square by isothermal compressibility. Now volume expansivity is equal to 1 by V into dou V by dou T at constant pressure. Okay, and isothermal compressibility is inverse of bulk modulus and it is also called as compressibility factor. Okay, KT is. Now bulk modulus is equal to, in machine design or strength of materials, you will study that bulk modulus is a stress or volumetric stress by volumetric strain. So a stress is nothing but pressure and volumetric strain is change in volume by initial volume. Okay, so here we have dP by dV by V. Now why it's a negative term? Because as you increase the pressure, volume decreases. Okay, in terms of deficiency, in terms of density, we have dou P by dou rho by rho. Rho is density and above side it's dP, change in pressure. Okay, so KT is equal to, which is inverse of bulk modulus, so isothermal compressibility is equal to minus V dou V by dou P at constant T. Okay, similarly we have isentropic compressibility also. This is isothermal compressibility, and now we will study because temperature is constant here. Okay, so it's isothermal and we will have isentropic compressibility is equal to 1 minus V dou V by dou P at constant entropy. Okay, now Joule-Thomson coefficient. Now in throttling we have seen that enthalpy is always constant, but temperature is not constant. It becomes constant for an ideal gas, but it is not constant for any other gas. So the temperature characteristic is judged by Joule-Thomson coefficient. Okay, which is slope of isoenthalpic curve on the TP coordinate. Okay, temperature versus pressure coordinate. Okay, now during a throttling process we know that pressure decreases down the downstream. Okay, so in the graph of T versus free, you will see that you have to go backwards, okay, because on the right side pressure will be increases, so you have to go on the left side, okay, to see the Joule-Thomson coefficient, okay. Now Joule-Thomson coefficient is the slope of isothalpic curve in the TP coordinate. Now if the slope is less than 0, means negative, the temperature increases for that gas, and if that slope is equal to 0, means temperature remains constant. It happens only for ideal gases. And if the slope is greater than 0, means a positive value, means temperature decreases, okay. Now here we will have the TP coordinate and isothalpic curve, and hence the Joule-Thomson coefficient, okay. So these are the isothalpic curves. This is the inversion line, okay. Now on the left side of uh, inversion line, we have the cooling region, for which the slope is greater than 0, and on the right side we have the heating region, for which the slope is less than 0, okay. Now what is inversion line? It is the line passing through the points of zero slope of constant enthalpy curve, okay. Now the point of intersection of P is equal to 0 and inversion line is called maximum inversion temperature. In the inversion line you have not seen that it intersects at P is equal to 0, but in some other curves you will see that inversion line intersects with the P is equal to 0, which will be the maximum inversion temperature, okay. It's not in the previous curve, it can be seen in some other curves, okay. Now mu is equal to 0 for all the points on the left of the inversion line, called cooling region, and mu is less than 0 for all the points on the right side of the inversion line, so it's called heating region, okay. For an ideal gas, mu is equal to 0 everywhere, so temperature is constant for an ideal gases only. Now we have Clausius-Clapeyron equation, okay. So we will have 4 equations, okay. Basically it's just this, that dou P by dou T saturation is equal to latent heat of vaporization by T saturation by VFG, okay. HFG is nothing but latent heat of vaporization, Hg minus Hf, and this VFG is Vg minus Vf. T saturation is saturation temperature for vaporization. Now so you have 4 equations. First equation is the all these equations are Clausius-Clapeyron equation, but guiding equation is only this, dou P by dou T at saturation is equal to HFG by T saturation VFG. Now a change in pressure is P2 minus P1, change in temperature is T2 minus T1 is equal to HFG T saturation VFG, okay. Now this is the second equation. Now if you keep the dou T value on the right side and perform integration, you will get this equation, third equation, HFG VFG ln T2 by T1 saturation, okay. You put that in the right side and perform integration, okay. T is on the denominator, dou T is here, so it will be ln, okay. Basic integration of dou T by T is ln T, and from 1 to 2 it's ln T2 by T1, okay. Now Vg is more than Vf, much more than Vf, so Vg minus Vf, ignore F, so we will have only Vg. Now perform ideal gas equation, PV is equal to RT, so you will get this HFG P saturation RT square, okay. Now once again perform integration for P, keeping by bringing the P from right side to left side, okay, and perform integration, dou P by P, you will get ln P2 by P1 is equal to HFG by R 1 minus T1 minus 1 by T2, okay, at saturation. Now compressibility factor, okay. Isothermal compressibility was done. It's not a isothermal compressibility, it's a compressibility factor, okay. So compressibility factor is actual volume by ideal gas volume, okay, and it is 1 for ideal gases because VA is actual volume and this is ideal gas volume. So for an ideal gas, actual volume will become the ideal gas volume. So the ratio will be 1, okay. For real gases, the compressibility factor is less than or more than 1, depends on the gas, and it's a dimensionless number. Now after compressibility factor, we have reduced property. Now reduced property can be anything: reduced pressure or reduced volume or reduced temperature, okay. Now reduced property is equal to existing property by critical property, okay. Yani critical point, the property that we are getting at the critical point. You have seen the curve, saturation curve, and you have seen that on the topmost point we have the critical point. So the property at there are called critical property, and anywhere it's called existing property. So reduced property is equal to existing property by critical property, okay. Now a specific volume is not same for same pressure and temperature for different gases, okay. For different gases, a specific volume will not be same at common pressure and temperature values, but at reduced volume for a given reduced temperature and pressure, all the different gases will give the same specific volume, okay. Now at a very low pressure, that is reduced pressure much less than 1 or reduced temperature greater than 2, gases behave as an ideal gas regardless of temperature, and these things happens in the vicinity of critical point, because you know that the more we will go to the critical point, the reduced property will become 1, and if the reduced property becomes 1, means the gases will behave like ideal gases, okay. Now will have van der Waals equation or characteristic equation of real gases, okay. So in the for ideal gases, you see that PV is equal to RT, okay. P, a specific volume V, is equal to RT. R is gas constant, T is absolute temperature in Kelvin, and P is the absolute temperature of the system, okay. Now for real gases, PV is equal to not RT, it's P plus A Vs square by Vs square is equal to V minus B is equal to RT. Now why is that? Because in ideal gases you assume that there is no intermolecular forces and the volume occupied by the molecules of gases is 0, but it does not happen for real gases, okay. So we have these additional terms A plus V square and V minus B, okay, means B, A and B terms are for accounting of intermolecular forces and volume occupied by the molecules. Now at critical point, okay, if you the equation that you have at critical point, if you differentiate the pressure and pressure term, so dou P by dou V at T is equal to Tc, means temperature critical point. So first differentiation of P with respect to V is equal to 0, and second differentiation of P with respect to V is equal to 0. Now from these two equations we will get Vc is equal to 3V, PC is equal to A by 27B square, and TC is equal to 8A by 27 RB, okay. So putting these PC, VC and TC value, you will get PC, VC by RTC is equal to 3 by 8. Now at critical points, all gases have same pressure and temperature, but different specific volume. It's just a concept. Now this is just a question: Okay, so if you are given a mixture of gases and you have to find the gas constant for the mixture of gases, so how would you find that? Because if you have given just one gas, you can find the gas constant by universal gas constant by the molecular mass of the gas. But you are given, if you are given mixture of gases, how would you find the gas constant for the mixture of gases? So universal gas constant by percent of the gas that has been given by molecular mass of the gas. So if it's 60% nitrogen, means 0.6 by molecular mass of nitrogen, plus it's given 30% oxygen, so 0.3 by molecular mass of oxygen. Now 10% carbon dioxide, so 0.1 by molecular mass of carbon dioxide. Okay, now molecular mass of nitrogen is 28, molecular mass of oxygen is 32, molecular mass of carbon dioxide is 44, and universal gas constant is 8.314 kilojoule per kilogram per Kelvin. Okay, now this is also another concept. These are all the gate questions that I have solved and found these values that I have kept in my notes. So work done is always in joules, and if you are given the torque value, you can find that torque is equal to torque into theta, means the angle moved. So theta is in radians. If you are given the angular speed into time is theta value. Okay, and if you are given the rpm, so omega is equal to 2 pi n by 60, and this is time. Small t is time, bigger T is torsion or torque. Okay, now we have linear cycle. Okay, this question is also asked in GATE. I didn't know before that there is any linear cycle, then I searched for it and found this. Okay, so linear cycle is like this. It's a work consuming cycle, it's an anticlockwise cycle, so it's a work consuming cycle, and 1 to 2 is constant pressure, 2 to 3 is constant volume, and this is whatever it is, adiabatic or polytropic process, I don't know. No, it's adiabatic process. 2 to 3 is adiabatic process. Okay, no, 2 to 3, no, 3 to 1. Okay, 1 to 2 is constant volume, 2 to 3 is 1 to 2 is constant pressure, 2 to 3 is constant volume, and 3 to 1 is adiabatic. Okay, now efficiency of the linear cycle is this: 1 minus gamma rp to the power 1 by gamma minus 1 by rp minus 1. Rp is pressure ratio, is equal to P3 by P1. Now if you do the throttling of dry saturated steam and wet saturated steam, you will get different all the properties will be same, just the specific volume will increase and decrease respectively. That in throttling, pressure decreases. If the pressure decreases, then temperature decreases. Now dryness fraction increases and entropy increases. So these four terms happen same for wet steam and dry steam, but for dry steam a specific volume increases and wet steam a specific volume decreases. This is the only difference between throttling of dry steam and wet steam. Okay, now this is one another important concept, that when the system reaches the state of equilibrium, the entropy is maximum. Okay, okay, and entropy transfer is only due to Q, not W. So if you are given work or electrical work, merely mostly given, so if you are given the IR square RT or V square by R into T, or IV, means I is current and V is voltage. So if you are given electrical work, it's an work, not energy, so there will not be any entropy transfer in the system. Okay, no, so these are the things. Okay, and the last topic that I was writing was, for reversible adiabatic, entropy difference is always 0, means ds is equal to 0 only for reversible adiabatic. Why? because there is no heat transfer, dq is 0. Reversible adiabatic is there, so adiabatic means dq is equal to 0, and reversible means entropy generation is equal to 0. So change in entropy is equal to dq by t plus entropy generation, or summation of dq by t plus entropy generation. So there is not dq, dq is 0, and it's a reversible process, so entropy generation is 0. So dx is equal to 0 for reversible adiabatic process. Okay, that was the last term I was writing and didn't write it, so okay, meet in next video.